From the root of the elder foreshadows descend, for branches of fate that begin and then bend. On the island of might, where the mist meets the stone, a prince leaves his skin for a mirror-bound throne. For fates for four houses drop soft as a sigh, under the watch of the cold winded sky. The frost-white pack with the ember-rimmed ears, the hunt of the shadow where silence appears. A stag of the other world, bleeding and bright, pulled down by the hounds that were birthed in the night. You took what was mine from the edge of the grave, now rule where the rivers run black through the cave. Run black through the cave. The Mirror King wears a dead brother's face in the silent halls of a shadow-bound place. He shares the cold silk with a queen not his own, while guarding the roots of a marrow-white throne. A year in the dark for a slight in the light, the prince becomes a Ron to master the night. The frost-white pack with the ember-rimmed ears, the hunt of the shadow where silence appears. A stag of the other world, bleeding and bright, pulled down by the hounds that were birthed in the night. You took what was mine from the edge of the grave, now rule where the rivers run black through the cave. Run black through the cave. The rivers run black through the cave. One strike for the shadow, one blow for the man. If you strike a ghost twice, he ruins your plan.
One strike for the shadow, one blow for the man. The blood debt is settled for Pwyll Pennan.
On Gorseth our birth, where the silence is heavy, the Prince of Dahuv sits down to his folly. A king made of mirrors on a hill made of clay, waiting for wonders to haunt the high day. He watched them mispart like a curtain of breath, halfway to living and halfway to death. She rode on a phantom, a pale-colored light, a spark from the other world dropped from the sky. No hoofprint in clover, no dust in the wake, a riddle of speed for a mortal to take. He broke every horse, he wasted his lung, while she laughed in a language that wasn't yet sung.
My name is Rhiannon. I move faster by standing quite still.
Standing quite still.
I fled from the wedding to save my own will, from a ghost of a man on a ghost of a hill. The one who speaks truth to a king of the shade is the one who can finish the bargain I've made.
Then entered the fool with his bottomless sack, a man named Gwahul with a knife in his back. He stepped in the magic, he stepped in the void, while the Prince of Dahuv watched his pride be destroyed. A trick for a trick, and a debt for a lie. The ghost of the wedding had nowhere to fly.
On Gorseth our birth, where the silence is loud, a A wonder was born from a silver-trimmed cloud. The mirror is broken, the shadow is deep, but the prince has a promise that he's going to birds, locked in of magical words.
In the high halls of our birth, the cradle was full, but the moon has a hunger and the shadows a pull. 6 watchers sleeping while the monster's hand reached through the window from a hollow land. No cry in the night, just a breath of the cold, and the future of Dove was snatched from the fold. Oh, the mother is painted in a killer's mask, with a hollow heart for a heavy task. The blood of the hound on the silk of the queen, the cruel world has seen. I have eaten my joy, is the song she must say, by the horse-blocked stone at the end of the day.
I am the horse for the traveler's pride, the cruelest pride, with the weight of the kingdom on my weary side. 7 years of the dust, 7 years of the gown, for the child who was taken from the safety of the wall.
Carry the weight,
carry the light.
But far in the meadows where the foals are born, Tiernan waits with the blade of the morn. A giant arm falls to the cut of the steel, and a golden child is the wound he must heal. A mirror of goodwill in the face of the boy, the end of the sorrow and the birth of the joy. From the sad hand the branch will grow, from the horse-blocked stone the truth will flow. His name is preterite, the anxiety's end, where the 4 broken boughs lead, where the 4 broken boughs of the destiny bend. Of the hall are swinging wide, with a golden sun and a turning tide. A stranger comes from the valley green, with the finest boy that the world has seen. He has the eyes and the noble brow, the truth is shining on the kingdom now. The farmer speaks and the crowd is still, as the shadow breaks on the sacred hill. Oh, call the name to the open sky, let the heavy days of the dark pass by. From the horse-blocked stone to the golden throne, the Prince of Dyfed is coming home. Pridery, the end of the fear, Pridery, the wonder is here. The west is waking in a blaze of light, the end to a long and lonely night. He grows with the strength of a winter oak, the finest heart of the Cymric folk. 100 years in a single day, chasing the ghost of the past away. Rhiannon laughs in her husband's arms, safe from the lies and the cruel alarms. The crown is bright and the ale is cold, for the greatest story that was ever told. My trouble is gone, the mother cries, with the light of the stars in her weary eyes. The name of the pain is the name of the joy, the name of the man is the name of the boy. Pride-ery. Second bough falls with a sound like thunder to split the island of the mighty asunder. At Harlech, the giant king looks to the sea. Bendigid Fran, as tall as a tree. Too large for the castle, too grand for the hall. He pitches the white tents outside of the wall to marry his sister, the sweet Branwen Bran, to Mattheloge, the king of the Irishmen. Ethne sing, walking the shadow alone, with a pride and a dagger that cuts to the bone. He slashes the lips and the ears and the tail, leaving blood on the grass and a ghost in the gale. Oh, the horses are ruined, the insult is loud, and a shadow falls over the glittering crowd. The Irish are turning their ships to the tide, an act of the war for the shame of the bride. But Bran walks into the water to say, take my gold and my horses, but do not walk away. I offer a price for the blood on the ground, a magic that no mortal kingdom has found. I give you the Perdadany tonight, the iron womb born in the blinding white. Throw your dead in the cauldron, and tomorrow they wake, but their tongues will be bound for the magic I make. The wedding gift given, the silent dead rise, with the red of the fire and the white of their eyes. The peace is a bandage, the peace is a breath. Branwen sails over the water of death to the shores of the Irish. The bride is now cast, but the rust of a half-brother's heart is built to last.
Queen of the ashes, the bride of the dust, paying the toll for a half-brother's rust. 3 years in the dark where the butcher's hand swings, while the lords of the Irish remember the things that were done to their horses, the blood on the ground. Now I am the prisoner beneath the high mound. I have a friend in the suit and the stone, a starling I raised in the shadows alone. I tie all my sorrow, my blood and my grief to the leg of the bird like a blackened out leaf. Fly over the water, fly over the sea, find the mountain of Britain and bring him to me.
Look to the water, Mathoch, look to the east. The ocean is foaming, a terrified beast. The watchmen are screaming, a mountain draws near, with 2 lakes of water, cold rivers of fear. It isn't a mountain, it isn't a stone. It's Bendigay Grand, made of marrow and bone. He wades through the deep with his sword on his back. The giant of Harlech is on the attack. The Irish retreat, they run from the shore. They shatter the bridge so he can't follow more. The river is wide and the river is deep, where the water is wild and the current is steep. His army is halted, they stand at the edge, with no wood for a boat and no stone for a ledge. But the king of the mighty looks down at the flood. I will not be stopped by the water and mud. He lays his great body across the cold tide, from the bank of the Sorrow to the opposite side. He who is a leader, let him be a bridge. The spine of the king is the conquering ridge. March over his shoulders, march over his bone. The king is the path to the Irishman's throne. The spine of the king is the conquering ridge. The giant of Harlech is on the attack. March over his shoulders, march over his bone.
March over his shoulders, march over his bone.
Giant to stand with a timber pillar hard and a shifting floor of sand. 200 leather bellies hung heavy from the beams, filled with the dry ground flour of the assassin's dreams. But if nation is smiling as he walks through the door, he asks what is swelling above the great floor. It is flour, they tell him, a trick for the king. So he reaches his hand up to hear the bone ring. Squeeze the leather, the bone crack. The baker of the dead leaves the great hall black. 200 dead men hanging in sacks, but the rust in his heart is planning more attacks. Bring out the boy, little whirn the air, with the blood of the Irish and the British hair. Into the flame, ethnicity has ruined the island's name. The slaughter is absolute, cold steel on the shield. The blood of the mighty is flooding the field. The Irish are throwing the slain in the pot, the iron womb boiling the ghost that they brought. They rise in the morning, they march in the night, with no words in their mouths and a terrifying might. The silent battalion, the unkillable horde, you cannot defeat them with a mortal sword. Squeeze the leather, hear the bone crack. The baker of the dead leaves the great hall black. 200 dead men hanging in sacks, but the rust in his heart is planning more attacks. Bring out the boy, little whirn the air, with the blood of the Irish and the British hair. Into the flame, ethnicity has ruined the island's name. So ethnicity falls to the bloody red mud. He hides in the bodies, he paints himself blood. They pick up his weight, they throw him inside, to the belly of iron where the magic hides. He stretches his arms, he pushes his feet. His heart is a drum with a shattering beat. He cracks the great cauldron into 4 broken parts. The end of the magic, the end of the heart. Squeeze the leather, hear the bone crack. The baker of the dead leaves the great hall black. 200 dead men hanging in sacks, but the rust in his heart is planning more attacks. Bring out the boy, little whirn the air. The iron is broken, the fire is dead. The silence are falling, the river runs red. The iron is left, but the blood and the head.
7 men standing on a ruined shore. The giant is fallen, he will walk no more. A poisoned spear in the giant's heel. Branwen looks back at the broken wheel. 2 good islands have died for my name. Her heart cracks open to swallow the blame. The heart that cracks the world in two dies on the sand where the water is blue.
Cut off the head of the mountain of man, carry the crown of the giant called Bran. An anchor of bone for the white mount's crest, to bury his eyes facing out from the west. But the severed head speaks and the severed head sings. The king in the mind is the king of the kings. "87 years in a magical hall, with the head of the king on the edge of the wall. The wine never sours, the meat never rots. The 7 survivors untangle the knots. No memory of sorrow, no memory of pain, while the head of the giant holds back the rain. A feast of the dead that feels perfectly right, kept safe in the bubble of blinding white. But there is a door that looks to the sea. Do not turn the handle, do not turn the key. The door of remembering opens so wide, and all of the grief of blood rushes inside. The magic is broken, the 80 years fade. Sorrow returns like a sharpened blade.
They carry the bone to the London dirt, to bury the head and to bury the hurt. Under the stone where the ravens will fly, the second bough falls and the second bough dies. The anchor of bone, the anchor of bone.
The third bough drops on a quiet land. The blood of the giant is washed from my hand. I left the head in the London stone, and walked to the west of the world alone. The noble king with his father's pride gave me the queen of the birds for a bride. In the fields of Dyft the grief was gone, I found my peace with Rhiannon. We climbed to the top of the magical mound. Gorset arbored the ancient ground, with the set arbor the ancient ground, with the sun Pryderi and his lady Sigvar, looking down at the world and the sights that we saw. The cattle, the houses, the smoke in the sky. Then the thunderclap broke and the white mist fell.
The fog that eats the world like a spell. We closed our eyes in the blinding gray, and the breath of the darkness blew the kingdom away. The fog that eats the world like a spell, leaving nothing behind but an empty shell.
The mist clears away and the sun is cold. There is no iron, there is no gold. No cattle to load and no sheep to keep. No farmers to wake and no widows to weep. Every house is empty, every hearth is bare. Just a kingdom of echoes in the freezing air. only four are left in the silent way. Ryan on and the choices we make, man avoiding with the patient hands, brightly walking the stolen lands. Sigurd weeping for the home she knew. The island is empty and the ghost of you.
Just four in the grass where the mist has swirled, in the fog that ate the mortal world. A kingdom of echoes, a kingdom of echoes. The third bough falls in the silence.
We took the steel and we took the hide to the towns of Loiger on the eastern side. Saddles of gold and shoes of the blue, the work of Mabinogi Dan was magic and true. But the envy of men is a sharpened knife. Kill the strangers, they cried in the strife. So we walked from the city, we fled from the war, back to the silence of the Dyfed shore. Follow the bore of the ghost light skin into the woods where the shadows begin. A castle of stone where the mist is thin, a trap for the soul that is waiting within. The white boar runs and the white boar flies, leading the king to the place where he dies. A fortress of marble, a fortress of air, Pryderi finds a wonder there. No hounds are barking, no shadows are cast. Into the courtyard he wanders at last. A golden bowl on a 4-chain pole hangs from the ceiling beautifully full. Do not go inside, Mabinogi and cries, but the son of the mound has the sun in his eyes. His hands hit the gold, he is stuck to the floor. He cannot speak, he can move no more. I'm coming, my son, I will break its claim. But the gold is a poison, the gold is our bane. She touches the bowl and the thunder speaks, as the tears of the mother run down her cheeks. A flash of the white and a roar of the grey, the castle and the captives have vanished away. Now only two in the empty world stand, Mabinogi Dan and Kigva in a hollow land. I planted the wheat in the empty dirt to feed the quiet and heal the hurt. But the thieves came down in the dark of night, an army of mice in the pale moonlight. They ate the first and they ate the second, faster than a mortal man had reckoned. So I waited in the dark on the third night's fall, and I caught a slow mouse by the edge of the wall. I will build a gallows of a tiny size on the mound of magic where the gray mist lies. For a thief is a thief, be they large or small. I will hang this mouse in the side of all. ruler, here comes a priest, offering a fortune to release the beast. Keep your gold mantle wide and Christ, the thief will swing before my eyes. Stop the rope, the bishop commands. Stop the rope, the bishop commands. I am Louis with the magic hands. That is no mouse in the tiny rope. That is my wife and my unborn hope. You ask why the mist and the gold trap came. It is the long revenge for the badger game. You trapped Gwahul in the sack of hide, so I stole your kingdom and I stole your bride. Give back the boy, give back the queen. The curse from the dove-dipped shore and the badger bag will be played no more. Swear the oath, let the magic unbind. The prisoners return and the mist is behind. The fog rolls back and the sun is bright. The third bough fends in the morning light.
I weave the oak leaves into coins of gold, a poisonous lie that is easily sold. To steal the beast from the southern land and hide the truth in the palm of my hand. The magic is dark and the shadows breathe, a war to cover the sin beneath. Oh, Pryderi, the golden sun, the magic is finished, what the sword begun. The king of the south falls into the mud, tricked by the shadow and drowned in his blood. The child of the mound meets a tragic end, broken by curses, betrayed by a friend. Betrayed by a friend. While the king of the north is away at the war, a crime of the flesh behind the great door. The sacred lap of the virgin is torn, a terrible night waiting for dawn. The sacred lap of the virgin is torn, a terrible night waiting for dawn. Oh, Pryderi, the golden sun, the magic is finished, what the sword begun. The king of the south falls into the mud, tricked by the shadow and drowned in his blood. The child of the mound meets a tragic end, broken by curses, betrayed by a friend. Betrayed by a friend.
Gone as the deer in the freezing rain, bleed as the boar in the tangled plain, howl as the wolf in the bitter night. 3 years of beast for the loss of the light. The gold turns to dirt, the leaves blow away, the golden sun dies in the gray. Pryderi, Pryderi, Pryderi.
Step across the wand of white. Bring the hidden blood to light. Step across and hold your pride. There is nowhere left to hide. Two small lives on the stone floor cast. A ghost from the future, a ghost from the past. One swims deep in the foaming sea. One is a shadow I will never free. I have him safe in a chest of pine. A nameless boy of a broken line. 3 curses bind him, 3 locks on the door. He shall not be a man, he shall not be more. No name shall he hold until I decree. No blade shall he carry, no wife shall he see. The curse is the seal, the curse is the crown. Until the sky burns and the stars fall down. The mother has spoken, the curse has been cast. A life without love from the first to the last. But deep in the forest where the old shadows sleep, we gather the oak and the meadow sweet. The bloom of the broom in the pale moonlight, to weave him a bride in the dead of the night.
I have no mother, I have no past. I am the petals caught in the blast. Breathe in the magic, open my eyes. A creature of earth in a human disguise. Call me the face of the flowers in bloom. Blood I with born from the root and the tomb. Blood I with born from the root and the tomb.
The curse of the mother is broken and gone. The boy with the skillful hand sees the dawn. We give him a kingdom, we give him a wife, but we gave her no soul when we gave her a life. No human heart beating inside of her breast. A beautiful monster put to the test.
Beautiful monster, newly born, newly born.
the cauldron, one on the goat, a poison whisper from a lover's throat. A spear forged slowly for a year and a day to take the life of the golden lay. The hunter strikes from the river's stone to break the flesh and shatter the bone.
He doesn't die, he takes to the sky, an eagle screaming a terrible cry. Rotting away in the high oak tree, a king of the air in agony. Sing to the branches, sing to the pain, bring the boy back to the earth again.
The wizard finds him, the magic is spun, flesh returns to the wounded son. Now the face of flowers must face the night, turn to an owl in the fading light. Hated by birds, cast out in the cold, the darkest revenge that the myth ever told.
He throws the spear through the solid stone, he takes back the crown.